Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Ava Death Dolly and today we have
Mr. Dolly.
we want to talk a little bit about us and some of the things that we've had to go through, because we are now and then I'm starting to see more and more trans femmes that starting to mention that they have wives, and or others that have come forward and asked, how do you navigate certain relationships? So talk just a little bit about our relationship and how we've navigated, going through the transitions. Because like we first met originally in the 1990s.
Yeah, late 90s.
Yeah, initially it was an online friendship, back in the AOL days. Yeah, that's
AOL.
Yeah, yeah. That was the company that gave you a free disc and you got a free Devil's Air Raid siren.
America Online 3.0.
Ooh, I know, it makes us sound ancient, doesn't it? Anyway, so we would eventually meet, a few years later, but prior to meeting, what became my future wife, I had to disclose a few things, because I had other relationships after the end of my first marriage, and they all seemed to end for the same reasons, largely, in part because of their insecurities, but also because some of the women I've been with couldn't handle who I was. You see, I lived as a transgender woman from 1995 all the way through a little bit middle of 2002. And the reason why I left the life is because getting my meds became very, very difficult after 9/11. The black markets dried up, the borders got clamped down, and I just didn't relate with a lot of things at that time, and I thought, well, I could just retreat in the goth scene. I'm still gonna wear the same makeup, I'm still gonna have the same hair, but and it's for a little bit it seemed like it was gonna work, but eventually it didn't. But we'll get into that briefly. But before we could do that, as I met her, and at first we were just friends.
Yeah, just friends.
Just friends, and I really enjoyed her company and that sweet little accent.
What accent?
See, she from Texas. All right.
Ex-Texas.
Ex-Texas, exactly. So, I felt I owed her that honesty, because I was, by this point, I was sick of explaining who I was or trying to justify what I've done in my life. And so I told her everything, and I showed her a lot of photos, and it didn't seem to shock her.
Why should I be shocked?
Well, you were kind of like a first, because most people just like, are you sure? I mean, I had one girlfriend. It was just.
I did not do that.
I know you didn't do that. Yeah, no. But I did have people that just like, no matter what I did, they would have to stop and ask me point blank, did you do this? Did you do that? And I would say, no, that's stereotype. And that's not me. That's not me. So during that period, unfortunately, which plagued our early part of our relationship, was because I had gone off HRT, I had severe depression and a host of medical problems, and the depression led often to these times I would just go off the deep end, and yes, I did try to take my life multiple times, and it got pretty bad, but this woman here saved my life more than once, and I owe it to her. So, I couldn't conceal my feelings. I realized about around a little after when my father passed away in 2014 that I wanted to come back. I just didn't know if I could. And first I had to broach it with you.
But you didn't have to ask my permission, because how could we progress with a happy relationship with one person being satisfied and the other one being totally miserable?
Well, again, honesty. And I mean, it's been one of the things that has managed to keep us together. And mind you, we've gone through a lot of hardships that unrelated to
Yes.
this issue in particular. But I periodically get asked by other people that, how do I navigate this type of relationship? Because it does have its complications, and one of ours was, we had children. And how do we broach it to the children? And I delayed my decision by 5 years because I was just agonizing over how do I do this without screwing my kids up. And
Because we want to protect them.
yeah, I was most particular. We have a son, and that was a big sticking point for me because I was terrified that he would be bullied or he would resent me if I start to make the road back. But
That's not the case.
no, it's not the case. I was a Vietnam veteran, two-spirit person and mentor who convinced me that he said, give your boy a chance. You know, they're more resilient than we were. You know, and just maybe, you know, it might work out. And to my surprise, you know, only two feathers. You were right.
Our oldest, she is her little diva, and the youngest is her little bodyguard. He will jump you with the quickness if you try to misgender her. Ooh, don't mess with him. And he's just so amazing. He worships and adores Ava like he should, you know? He's very protective. And, you know, proud parent moment. He was talking about, he told us at 4 years old, woke us up one morning on a Saturday, Mom, I like girls. Okay, that's great, buddy, but you're going to go to school first. You're going to finish school and you're going to go to college before we talk about that. He knows who he is. He knows what he likes and what he doesn't like. It has been no effect on him at all. And he was talking about what type of person he wants to be with when he becomes an adult. And he said, well, she better like trans people because it's not good if she doesn't. And that is sweet.
Yeah, that is really sweet. And so for those people who want to try and make the argument that, oh, you know, we can't have people like you around because you might make them trans. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way at all.
You mean I'll do my hair and make it better?
She's always complained that I've been good with it, but I mean I do help. No, then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it pays.
Yeah, there are some fringe benefits to all of this. But I want to talk about, for a brief moment, the downside is we have to deal with the general public, and sometimes the general public jumps to a lot of conclusions, and we've had to face some bigotry. And one of the biggest problems that we've had is that people, they see something they didn't agree with, or whatever their reasons are, they'll call the authorities on us. And in fact, we're going through it again, you know, but, you know, it's, so we've had a small amount of harassment.
But the general public, it's always when you're running an errand by yourself.
Pretty much.
No one's ever felt froggy to try anything when I'm there.
No.
They're usually like too freaked out, like, oh my God, they're actually a normal couple.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Because trust me, I have no problem in setting someone straight.
Yeah, well, again, ex-Texas.
Yeah. You can ask the ex-skinhead punker that was at the Adamant concert.
Yeah, he got put in this place.
I said, look, I grew up in Texas. I don't care that I'm in a Lolita dress and Mary Jane's. I'll still kick your ass because I was taught to stand my ground. And I glared. He finally turned around because he's fucking up my, my music experience. Don't play with me on my music. And as soon as that concert was over, boom, they were gone. It's like, damn straight, don't fuck with me. So they don't have to worry about Ava. They have to worry about Ava's wife.
Oh, and I couldn't be happier that, because a lot of people in my position, you know, if they're not upfront, or they don't get, there's a level of a lack of honesty, and it's not always on the trans person's fault. Sometimes it can be on the other side. You know, they'll say, "Oh, I'm okay with that." First wife was kind of a little bit that way, a little bit. I'm not going to talk about that, but you know, I hear this now and then that they say, "Oh, I'm kind of okay." Well, so long as it's kept behind closed doors, and they're like, that defeats the purpose of transitioning. You know,
Right.
So, and it happens that a good number of us, the relationships won't last. And prior to meeting my wife, relationships before again, suffered because the other party could not handle my truth. And because this is my truth, again, as I've said many times, I've known that I was different from other people since age 4, age 4, age 5, 1972. That's when I first became aware. And it takes a long time to figure out what your body's telling you. Despite, this is not, just ignore the propaganda. They'll tell you that this is just a phase. This is a trend. Everybody's just jumping on it. Or you listen to that moron that like to say, transgender for all. It's like, that's nonsense. No, it's crazy.
Nobody can get a doctor's appointment that quick. Sorry.
Yeah, and even then, it's like, it is not our agenda, as a whole, to recruit people to be us. I wouldn't wish this on someone. You either you have it, you're born with it, and we see it as more of a gift than anything else, less of a curse than more of a gift.
And you're not taking anything from me or
No.
any other woman.
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't consider myself compete, but it is amusing to me when I run into either someone like particular hard body types. We live in a tourist town, and so I'll come across all types of people, but the most intimidating hard body types will kind of ride in an elevator with me and then kind of look me over, and then they're the ones that are getting fidgety. In the old days, it used to be the other way around. Now I don't bother because I'm not in competition. I'm not in competition with my wife. Often we, do what we can to complement each other.
Yeah, we do.
Whether we're doing matching outfits or or just being overly affectionate.
She knows she's done well if I say, "You bitch."
Yeah, that's like, I'll ask, "Hey, honey, how does this look?" And then I'll get the,
"You bitch." But nobody else better say that.
Right. So, to those out there who are wondering, it's like, can I have this type of relationship? Yeah, of course you can. Of course. Yeah. And this also takes nothing away from the other trans girls. Most trans girls tend to like men, and that I have no issues with that. That has no bearing. But there are a big number of people out there that actually their gender and their orientation, they're not on the same page. And that's, it's a myth that we're all on the same page, and we're not on the same page. It's the same thing with like the issues with getting bottom surgery. I have an appendix, all right? Doesn't do anything. It's just sitting there. I know it's there. But I have no desire to remove it, But what I'm going to keep, what I'm not going to keep, that's my business. Only she needs to know. Nobody else needs to know. So I won't discuss it. And you shouldn't ask any other trans person whether they are transgender, they're intersex, or they're trans femme. It's
fucking rude.
Yeah, it is rude. It's rude, and it really, it's upsetting sometimes. I haven't had this happen to me, at least not, maybe once or twice in the first transition, not this time around. But I see it happen to a lot of girls, especially on the internet. They're always being asked about bottom surgery, vaginoplasty. And while some girls are comfortable because that's their path, other girls that maybe they're on that path, maybe they're not. They're not comfortable talking about it with somebody who's looking for something to judge them with. And again, that's our business. There's some things you just don't ask a girl, regardless if they were born one or not,
If someone doesn't mind sharing information prior to, then feel free to ask your question respectfully. But if you see that they're not sharing certain information, then that's above your pay grade and you don't need to know.
Yeah, like a lot of things. The argument we hear a lot is, the public is reacting the way they are because they don't know anything about you. Well, guess what? You don't need to know.
No.
We're not harming you. We're just living our lives.
We're the next vanilla relationship there is.
Yeah, only we dress better.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's just my opinion. I don't know. It may not necessarily be true, but regardless of which, again, I'm a what's called a trans femme, so my aesthetic is super hyper girly, but and that's not most trans people, and that's okay. I don't have an issue with it.
Everybody has their own style.
I just happen to be married to a female femme who loves also the super girly thing. So
absolutely.
So it works out for us, And whatever your aesthetics may be, or what are your commonalities, it can work for you as well. I mean, these type of relationships are possible. They can be, I mean, they can be rough sometimes to navigate. I mean, you'll have your issues, and there will be, but it's usually external stuff. Like with us, it's always been external for the most part. You know.
Yeah, the clothing budget has kind of gone up.
Well, that's to be expected. I mean, you transition, you're not going to really keep the old stuff. I mean, it's kind of point. I mean, I don't own anything.
I'm glad we don't wear the same shoe size.
Yeah, well, there
Then
you
we'll
go.
have a problem.
Yeah, we'd have a problem considering I've got a thing on one of my feet. But anyway, so that's a little bit about us. I mean, we're kind of beyond the obvious. We're pretty normal. I mean, we get up in the morning, we raise our kids, get them to school, and get her to work, and
We
then
do
I do
everything that you do.
Yeah.
And probably a lot we don't do that you do.
Yeah, but that's our business. It doesn't have to be yours. Anyway, so anything else you want to add about our relationship or handling my transition?
It wasn't nothing that I had to handle. It was just natural. It's like, okay, because I knew that you were going to be the same person, same morals, same heart. I mean, if you were going to tell me you're going to be a fucking Trumper, then we'd have had a problem.
Well, there's
we
that.
would be divorced.
Yeah. Well, as I put it, it's like, I think I like to let the girl drive. And
I have no problem with that.
And I'm significantly happier. I mean, we're going through some things right now, but
That has nothing to do with transition.
No, it doesn't have anything to do with otherwise. If it wasn't for this nasty political climate, I was having the time of my life before things got ugly, and fortunately, it's got some uncertainty coming our way, for all trans people. But who knows? I mean, we're being blamed for everything right now. Hopefully, some people come to their senses and realize, we're not the cause of why you don't have health care or why you're got to put in so many hours of work and your boss is going on vacation and you're not, those kind of things, the price of eggs you were promised, and why you're paying $7 for gasoline, it not have nothing to do with us.
See how now President Obama can take a breather. He's no longer the cause for everything that's gone wrong.
Right.
Love you, President Obama.
Anyway, folks, so that's just a little brief insight into a little bit about our lives. And it was just, I'm just relieved that it has worked out because, again, I've been down that road where it doesn't. But I guess the key...
It's like, don't compare me to others.
No,
I am not like anyone else.
No. But the ultimate key to making this type of relationship work or maintaining a marriage is honesty.
Honesty and constant communication.
Constant communication, and make sure that when you start that relationship, you're really looking for a true partner. Not a dictatorship. Those one-sided relationships never work.
No.
So, and that's really all.
Dictators are bad.
Yeah, they're bad. They're bad. But we don't want to focus on them right now. So, no. Who? Yeah, exactly. All right, folks. This has been Ava Death Dolly and
Mrs. Death Dolly.
And that's a little bit about us.
Yeah.
Please be good to each other. And as we always say, love you all.
Love you all.